Yo, what is up? Z Karma here, back with another Outriders video. In this video, we will talk about how the firepower applied by twisted rounds relates to the firepower gained from armor. So before we get into it, if you found this informative or helpful in any way, a like rating is appreciated, and if you want to sub for more content, that'll be great as well. For this video, I'll be using Trickster as an example. So in the case of Trickster, we have the twisted round skill, which I just mentioned earlier. There's two other classes that also have special rounds. The Pyromancer actually has it in its 4th slot, so you don't really have access to it right now. And the Technomancer actually has a 4th slot called Blighted rounds. And I'm also going to be using this SMG that has weapon life leech, so we're just trying to avoid having armor pierce, because armor pierce would be a topic for a different video. As you can see by the weapon card, this weapon deals 11 damage, but if we actually use it on enemies, you can see that we're doing 9 damage. That is because enemies have armor mitigation. So against these normal enemies, I'm actually dealing 9 instead of 11 damage. Now we can add some firepower. We can give ourselves some firepower with a bunch of armor. So let me just equip armor that gives me bonus firepower. And as you can see, my firepower is now at 436 for this weapon. So just so you know, whenever you switch weapons, you can actually see the firepower for your other weapon. So now let's switch back to the SMG we're testing. You can see it says 436 with our original 286 firepower. That is the base firepower of the weapon, plus the 150 firepower that we just applied with the armor. And at the bottom you can see the weapon damage bonus is 52.3%. So what we do is multiply the damage we were dealing of 9 by 1.523 to give us around 13.7 damage. And now if we go up to these enemies, you can see that we're dealing 14 damage. So 13.7, we just got 14, because obviously numbers are not exact. So our initial damage that we were dealing of 9 was more like 9.5 or something like that. Moving on, now we get some twisted rounds in here. And here's where things get a little bit different. So we're going to go ahead and activate twisted rounds. There you go, it's activated. You can see my weapon glowing. You can check, and now our firepower is at 530. And as you can see, the bonus that we get with all this firepower is 85.1%. So if we give an 85.1% increase to our original 9 damage, that is around 16.65 damage. But as you can see, when we come up to these enemies, we actually deal around 20 damage. As you see, there it is at 20. Now, the reason why we do 20 instead of 16 is because twisted rounds or any form of infused rounds from the other classes actually ignore enemy armor, meaning that we actually take the damage from the weapon card, which is 11. So as you can see, the damage from the weapon card is 11, and we apply that 85.1% increase that we get from a firepower once we have twisted rounds activated. So let me activate twisted rounds one more time, check it out. 85.1, we apply that to what it says on the weapon card, to 11, which would give us around 20.36 damage, and that is what we're actually dealing to the enemies. And same will happen against the tankier enemies. So let me go all the way to the back of this map, and we actually have the tankier enemy spawn from the back. There we go, there it is. See, we're actually dealing 20 damage when, if you didn't know, whenever you shoot those tankier enemies, you actually deal about half of the damage. So the fact that I'm dealing the same damage to the little guy as this guy, that means that we are actually ignoring all that armor mitigation. This skill is just great to use against those tankier enemies and the captains. I'm sure you've already seen the hundreds of content creators just farming captains with twisted rounds or blighted rounds. It's just absolutely insane. You can destroy them so much easier because they're so tanky, and the fact that that just allows you to ignore armor is amazing. And that is the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, a like rating is appreciated, and if you want to sub for more content, that'll be great as well. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.